Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright friends, so the viral clip I'm going to show you in this video, I think pretty much confirms exactly what I've been saying the last couple of days. Democrats are hoping that they're going to get their candidate across the finish line based purely on manufactured hype. It seems as though their perspective is, if they could get enough social media hype, enough Gen Zers going on about whatever this Kamala brat thing is, and enough celebrities of course jumping on the 12-year-old bandwagon, that alone is going to be enough to get Kamala in. Well, I'm not so sure about that one. See, Democrats have a little bit of an issue here. The whole identity politics argument. It works very well in the media. It works very well with the clueless drone-like masses who just follow whatever the current thing is. But there's only one problem with this strategy. It doesn't hold up to scrutiny, and eventually, the luster starts to fade, and people start to notice all the spots, they start to notice all the imperfections, they start to notice a cover-up rather than a good job being done. And that process, my friends, well, it's already begun. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We're already starting to get some hints suggesting that this whole Kamala Harris thing won't last very long. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so as much as Democrats want to avoid it, or as much as they're denying it, the simple fact is the only thing they've got when it comes to promoting Kamala Harris is clearly her identity. They're leading with the issue of identity, even though they're pretending that they aren't. Kamala Harris is a whole lot more than just a black woman. It's an interesting claim, but apparently the voters haven't got the memo, because all I keep seeing as the pure justification for supporting Kamala Harris when it comes to a lot of these vlog-style videos and TikTok videos is essentially the outright statement that I am going to vote for Kamala Harris because she is a woman of color. She's not one of those white male Republican racists. Democrats, of course, don't want to admit it, but that's pretty much the pitch. Well, let's take a look and see how that pitch is doing, shall we? Take a look at this online debate.
Vote for? Let me ask you a question. Would you vote for?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm going to just be real honest with this. She's a black woman.
Yeah.
Because they skin folk, not Kim folk.
I think it goes back to what somebody was saying, where it's not voting for someone, but majority will vote for somebody else just to
Hold on. Let me line this out.
I think majority.
Is it only because she a black woman?
Yeah.
Do you not see how that's a bad idea?
Elaborate.
Okay, so we're in 3 proxy wars with some of the most powerful leaders in the world. She failed at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they are in a deficit. Oakland is going out of business. San Francisco, ditto. California, $65 billion deficit. New York, they're literally cutting trash, in which they are the rattiest, dirtiest city, and they've taken up resources as far as free healthcare, free hotels to the tune of $600 a day. They're literally taking over your schools. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the migrant crisis. She was supposed to be in charge of this. We have a failing economy. Every single day I see people getting on the internet talking about $30 an hour is the new minimum wage because inflation is out of control. At one point, it was at almost 10%, depending on what city that you in. She has no policy, no record to stand on. One of the biggest things that she did in her career was lock up more black men than ever before. But we sitting here and vote her in office on identity politics. The very person that she was under as far as the president of the United States of America, she called him racist during a debate, which shows you how fake she is. And the only thing that we can stand on from a policy perspective is whether or not she's black and she's a woman. We did that during the Obama administration, and he didn't do anything for black people. As a matter of fact, y'all complain because the only person that he did, or the only group of people that he really stood for, is the alphabet community, and that's his landmark thing that he's still standing on today. So the only thing that we have to stand on is identity politics. That didn't work with Tiffany Henyard in Dolton, Illinois. It didn't work with Karen Bass. It didn't work with Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. It didn't work with Brandon Johnson that then took over her position in Chicago. It didn't work with Andre Dickens in Atlanta. It didn't work with Eric Adams in New York. It doesn't work across the country. Every single Democratic city is a hellhole. And we sitting here talking about identity politics?
It's a whole frickin' laundry list. The reality is, once all of this distraction, all of the propaganda, once it all starts to fade, where's the conversation gonna be? Well, the conversation's gonna come right back to actual results, policy, and of course, leadership capability, competence. And on that issue, Kamala Harris does not win. It's basically that simple. You know, yes, sure, there's a slight cultural phenomenon that's way more exaggerated than it is real, but even during this big propaganda push, when you isolate for the issue or just job performance as a whole, we see the same numbers recurring. The pattern or the trend has remained consistent. The Wall Street Journal just released this poll right over here, where they asked the question, do you approve or disapprove of the job that Donald Trump did as president? 51% surveyed responded that they approve. He has a +3 net rating and approval rating. That's huge. But then when asked the same question relating to Kamala Harris and her job as vice president, do you approve or disapprove of the job that Kamala Harris is doing as vice president? Only 41% approved, with a -9 net rating. You know, eventually, slowly but surely, reality is going to start setting in, and no amount of media gaslighting will change the clear reality. You know, they can tell us all they want that Kamala Harris wasn't actually the border czar. They could gaslight us into oblivion, pretending as if Kamala Harris isn't the socialist that we clearly know her to be. And by the way, that's really happening, as the website GovTracker is now going back retroactively, deleting their previous ratings of her voting track record as the most liberal senator. They could work as hard as they want. It's my personal belief that eventually people are going to see through the nonsense. You know, I'm even starting to see some evidence suggesting that some of the most partisan of leftists, even the leftoids, are calling what's currently happening in this little Kamala Harris media honeymoon period essentially a propaganda campaign.
I hate how I can feel the propaganda of the Kamala campaign working on me. Because part of me is like, yes, queen, per Brat Summer Kamala Harris. And then I'm like, oh my god, that's a politician actually. That's the vice president of the United States. Like, I'm still gonna vote for her, but I don't like feeling like I want to vote for her.
It's obvious to everyone. And look, I'm not going to totally discount their propaganda efforts, because clearly to a certain extent it's working. Kamala Harris has experienced some sort of meteoric rise. I mean, how quickly the narrative turned around. Here's CNN back in April of 2024, not that long ago, discussing how Kamala Harris may actually be dragging down Joe Biden during his re-election bid.
I think she's a pretty big jag. I think she was arguably Biden's worst political decision of his presidency to pick her in the first place, because Kamala Harris does not know how to talk to the center or to the right. She only really knows how to sort of speak the language of the base of the party, and that's 34% of the electorate.
Let me pick up on that, because it's not just focus groups that are down on Harris right now. In a recent poll, national poll, 40% approved of the vice president's job performance, while 55% disapproved.
And I think Joan is right, though, in the sense that she really does struggle with her communication skills. Kamala Harris finds her voice, and usually it's on the abortion message. If she had a strong, consistent voice and was really finding a lot of success as vice president, we wouldn't read an article every 6 months.
Yes, because no one ever writes about women and their voice.
You know, it really puts it all into perspective. Kamala was down an average of 10 points pretty much across the board at one point. The media hated her. It seemed like the world hated her, frankly. But one little fake news campaign jolt, and boom, her campaign's back to life. Her viability as a candidate is right back to life. You know, certainly they're achieving something. They've managed to create some momentum here, I won't deny that, but I just really think the momentum's phony. It's substanceless, it's built on nothing, and eventually I think they're gonna get exposed. But again, I just don't see how the talking points stand up to scrutiny. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.